Imagine this. One day you're a student doing research for your PhD, and the very next, you're a hostage. Well, for 903 days, that was the terrifying reality for Elizabeth Ciro. Today, we're going to dig into her incredible story of captivity in Iraq and her dramatic, long-awaited return to freedom. So let's start with the moment the world finally found out she was free. The news actually broke in a social media post from U.S. President Donald Trump himself. He confirmed that after this long, terrible ordeal, Elizabeth Ciro had been released by the militant group Kata'ib Hezbollah and was at last safe inside the American embassy. 903. Just let that number sink in for a second. 903 days. That's how long Elizabeth Ciro was held. We're talking nearly 2.5 years of uncertainty, of fear, and of a massive global effort just to bring her home. So who exactly is Elizabeth Ciro? And, what was she even doing in Iraq to begin with? To really get this story, we've got to understand the person right at the heart of it. Okay, so when you look at these details, you start to see just how complicated this whole situation was. Ciro is a dual Israeli-Russian citizen. She was in Baghdad as a Princeton grad student doing research for her degree. But, and this is key, she had to go into Iraq on her Russian passport because Israelis aren't allowed in the country. And it was during that trip that she was taken by Kata'ib Hezbollah, a very powerful pro-Iranian militant group, which just immediately turned her kidnapping into this huge geopolitical minefield. Those 903 days she was held captive were filled with these long, agonizing stretches of complete silence, broken up by just a few, frankly terrifying updates. Let's kind of walk through the timeline of what we know. It all kicks off in March of 2023. She just disappears in Baghdad. It takes 4 months until July for Israeli officials to finally confirm that, yes, she is alive. Then, in November, this chilling proof-of-life video shows up on Iraqi TV. And after that, almost 2 years of nothing, just radio silence, until the sudden, out-of-the-blue announcement of her release in September 2025. So, of course, that leads us to the biggest question of all. How did this finally end? After 903 days, what was the secret? What was the key that finally unlocked her freedom? Right? I mean, was it some kind of daring rescue mission? A quiet back-channel negotiation? A huge diplomatic breakthrough? How'd they do it? Well, as you might expect, the official details are pretty thin. We're being told the exact circumstances aren't clear, which honestly is pretty normal for these super sensitive operations. What we do know from some earlier reports is that the US and Iraq had been in talks about her freedom, which definitely hints at a long, complex diplomatic game that was being played behind the scenes. But for her family, this news was absolutely everything. Her sister, Emma Ciro, had been this incredible, vocal advocate for her freedom through the entire ordeal. And her reaction, well, it just says it all. Right after the announcement, Emma Ciro put out this statement of gratitude, and this list really shows you the sheer scale of the effort. She made sure to thank President Trump and his special envoy, Adam Boehler, and she even said that Boehler made her sister's return a personal mission. She also thanked Josh Harris and his whole team at the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad for their direct support on the ground, and also a nonprofit called Global Reach for their relentless advocacy. But really, beyond all the official thank yous, it's her sister's words that capture the real, profound human side of this story. She wrote, "My entire family is incredibly happy. We cannot wait to see Elizabeth and give her all the love we have been waiting to share for 903 days. Wow, it's just such a powerful end to what must have been an unimaginable nightmare for her family." Elizabeth Ciro's story is one of incredible struggle and, thankfully, relief. But it does leave us with a really critical question, one about the pursuit of knowledge in some of the world's most dangerous places. When a scholar's simple quest for understanding crashes head-on into the hard realities of conflict, what is the true human cost?